Final hour of the week here for me, live from Las Vegas. It's SportsGrid live from Las Vegas at the MGM Grand Hotel and Casino. BetMGM Sportsbook behind me. Lots of people showing up in town, excited. We have some Chiefs backers, we have some Niners backers, and they're all excited to be here as the game is just 2 days away. We're going to have Taylor Mathis coming on a little bit later this hour. I'll give out all my best bets that I've accumulated throughout the week, but some great data here from BetMGM, and we'll walk through all of it right now so you can tell who's betting what from what area of the country where BetMGM is available. So we'll first start on the most bet on team to win in each state. As you can see, pretty dominant data here that people like the Chiefs to win the game. So Chiefs money line still at plus 110, Niners at minus 130. So all throughout the country, in every single state where it's BetMGM is available, the Chiefs are the team that is being bet on the most. So you can see a lot of different states where it's available. It'll continue to become available in more states as it becomes legalized. The most bet on team to cover in each state, as you can tell, that would mirror exactly what we see there. Chiefs +2. People are taking the money line. They'll take some points as well. And by the way, just a little bit of a tip for everybody that wants to bet the underdog and wants to bet the Chiefs. Yes, you're getting them at +10. I have them at plus 110 as well. But take the points too. You don't have to put it all on the money line. It could be a close game. We have seen close scoring Super Bowls in the past. The Giants famously won a Super Bowl 20-19. The Scott Norwood miss, the most recognized play from that Super Bowl, but a 1-point victory for the Giants. Could that happen here? Of course, we could see something similar to that. I expect a low-scoring game, not all that far off from what that looks like. I'll give you my score a little bit later in this hour, but a 1-point game. That would, even if the Chiefs lose by a point in the Super Bowl, take that +2. Keep yourself covered anytime you bet the money line and are getting points. So here's the most bet on player to win MVP in each state. Starts to get a little bit more split. You see some Christian McCaffrey, obviously one of the favorites to win the MVP. He's the most bet on player to win in a variety of different states. I think you have Colorado there, Wyoming, you have Illinois, Indiana, and Kentucky there, as well as that's West Virginia. Hey, I'm pretty good at geography, but when you're looking at a map with no labels on it, forgive me for pausing there to figure that out. Travis Kelce, the other one, obviously a popular player for a variety of different ways. One of the best pass-catching tight end in the history of the NFL. Not just my perspective. Rob Gronkowski said that. Gronk is the greatest of all time, but he said Travis Kelce's an even better pass catcher. Gronk gives himself the edge for all around, and I do as well. So you can see Travis Kelce, a popular pick for his props and for him to win the MVP, which is, I believe, 11-1 as we discuss it right now live, and I'll make sure I have that right. Here's the most bet on total in each state, and so here's the reality. Said this on our morning show on Pro Football Today earlier today, live from Radio Row. If you're an NFL bettor, and I'm not saying I know for a fact that this game is going under. I'm on the under in this game. And shout out to Kansas, where they're betting it under 47.5. Public money and casual bettors, which there are many for the Super Bowl, like to bet overs and favorites. If you are an NFL bettor and going to be an NFL bettor long term, you have to get comfortable betting unders and underdogs and taking points. That's just what you have to get comfortable doing. Feels great to bet overs and root for a lot of points, but and it feels great to bet on the fair. Oh, they're the better team. I know they're going to win. Well, this one's tight. The sportsbook is telling you it's tight. So BetMGM is telling you it's tight. So just some perspective there for me. I've been using that word a lot. I need to mix it up. So that's the angle for me. You just need to make sure that, yes, a lot of people are betting the over, but I'm not on it, and there's plenty of sharp people that are on the under as well. So states with the most bets on the Super Bowl, the most tickets: Michigan, Arizona, Colorado, Nevada, Illinois. Not my home state of New York, which usually has a lot of tickets on their Super Bowl. And neither of those teams from that state, obviously not legal yet in California. We'll get there someday, but in Kansas it is legal, and they're not one of the states with the most bets, most tickets yet on the Super Bowl. Kansas betting on the Super Bowl. 93% of the bets are on the Chiefs, plus 110. 92% of the bets are on the Chiefs, plus 2. So some Niner strongholds in there, picking off 7 and 8% of those bets. Travis Kelce, the most bet on player to score a touchdown and win MVP. No surprise there. Although, you would think that they're in the home state for the Kansas City Chiefs, that Mahomes might beat out Travis Kelce. Not the case. I think we all know why. The outside, off the field, Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift influence is absolutely impacting the betting of this Super Bowl. So we see Travis Kelce, the most bet on player to score a touchdown and win MVP in Kansas. 99% of the bets are on Isaiah Pacheco to go over 67.5 rushing yards at minus 115. Just an overwhelming number, obviously. Shout out to the 1% of Kansas natives that are betting the Isaiah Pacheco under. I'm not with you, but I appreciate you holding strong. And 99% of the bets are on Brock Purdy to throw an interception. Again, shout out to the 1% that Brock Purdy's going to be clean this Sunday in Super Bowl 58. So, a few others. And those data include straight bets only. We're not including parlays or teases or anything like that. So 31%, let's go the other way. 49ers versus Chiefs. 31% of the bets are on the Niners laying 2, and that's 30% of the handle. So 69% of the bets are on the Chiefs, and 70% of the money is on the Chiefs right now. In terms of the total, 64% of the bets are to the over, and 61% of the money is to the over. So 36% of the bets are on the under, and 39% of the handle is on the under. So I'm against the public on this. I'm against the where most of the money is. In terms of the money line bets, 23% of the money line bets are on the Niners. 20% of the bets are on the Niners, 80% on the Chiefs, and 23% of the handle on the Niners, 77% of the handle on the Chiefs. So for a team that is the underdog to be receiving 80% of the money line bets and 77% of the handle, it's somewhat unusual, I have to be honest. So really want to relay a lot of information. BetMGM has been great to us this whole week and provided great data for us so you get a sense of where the public money is, and that includes sharp money as well, but where all of the money is as we get closer to the game. The public money is flowing in Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's where we see a lot of it start to happen. I don't expect movement up to 3 points, but it has gotten to 2.5 in certain places. Maybe BetMGM will see some movement as well. Excuse me. The total, though, it's been 47.5. Does it get up to 48, 48.5? Maybe. We've seen no movement at all. So does sharp money come in late, start to move it? Do big bets come in late and start to move it? It's been mostly professional Niners money to this point. Do we see some professional Chiefs money as we get closer to kickoff? We're getting close to seeing Taylor Mathis live on this set. She'll be back with us right after this.
This team has been capable of overcoming deficits until this season. In 2023, the Kansas City Chiefs are 2-4 when they trail by more than 7 points at any point in the game. And the only 2 comeback wins that they have are over backup quarterbacks that do not have a lot of experience.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
I'm digging deep, fellas. I'm digging deep. Christian McCaffrey minus 220. Donnie, how could you do that? The price point is way out of control in this. Keep it simple. The goal is to win money, not to outsmart everybody.
Mahomes is minus 140 to throw 2 touchdown passes. And if he's going to, Every single thing suggests a wide receiver will haul in at least one, if not both.
Pro Football Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
0 points scored in the fourth quarter of that Falcons Super Bowl, and the Niners were shut out.
Yep.
So in the two biggest games of the two Super Bowls, one as a coordinator, one as a head coach, he hasn't scored a single point in the fourth quarter. And I tell you what, if they don't, on Sunday, they're not winning the game, bro.
Exactly.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
We're back live at the BetMGM Sportsbook here at the MGM Grand with Taylor Mathis. She's on the grid all week with us, always on social media, dropping in on In-Game Live and other shows. Follow her on social media, and she has great stuff in all sports, not just the NFL, but we're focused on the NFL today. Great to be here.
We are. I'm so excited.
Work live together.
I know. We've never worked live together.
So excited to be here with you. Would love to get your take on this game. Obviously, you've got a big game coming up. Still +2, still 47.5. Who do you like?
How can we not go with the Chiefs? It is mind-blowing, mind-boggling to me at this point that the Chiefs are underdogs in this game. Patrick Mahomes is 14-3 in the playoffs, straight up.
Yep.
Under the age of 30. He's going to his fourth Super Bowl. That's never been done in history at his age, and he's already won 2 rings. I hate to bring up the D word, but I do think that the Kansas City Chiefs are on their way to becoming a dynasty, so I'm all in on the Chiefs on the money line.
Okay, good stuff. I am as well. So both Chiefs backers here. How about the flow of the game? You expect it to be higher scoring, lower scoring, 47.5, an extremely sharp number. Which side are you on?
I'm on the under.
Same.
And I feel like the reason that a lot of people tend to go over is because the public always wants to see over, wants to see points. We want to see scoring. The best move is the under, especially in these big games. You always see the defenses show up more. We see a lot less scoring than we expect, I think, than a lot of fans would like to see as well. So I'm all over the under.
We just showed the map, the BetMGM map. Every state except Kansas is betting the over. So I think Chiefs fans in the state of Kansas know that if we're going to win this game, going to be lower scoring because their defense will have.
They've been the storyline. They've been the storyline this year. And, you know, you always see out of the Chiefs that it tends to be Patrick Mahomes and their dynamic offense. But really, this defense has been great for them the entire season.
No doubt. So Taylor Mathis here with us live at the BetMGM Sportsbook. So we transitioned from team and total to who do you think is going to be the key player in this game? We could talk MVP or individual player props. I'll let you take it away.
I've got so many player props for you. My favorite play in the game, it's going to be an under, actually. I love George Kittle, under longest reception, 21.5 total yards. I absolutely hate saying that, too, because I went to the University of Iowa, and I'm a fellow Hawkeye with George Kittle. We graduated together. I want him to have a great game, but I gotta fade him a little bit with this under. Reason being, the Chiefs allow allow for the third least explosive plays in the NFL. They defend the tight end position very well. 39 different tight ends this season. Only 36% of them went over 21.5 receiving yards as a total, not even a longest reception. Just 2 went over this line. I've got to fade Kittle a little bit under longest reception, 21.5 yards.
You know, in a week like this, you can talk yourself in and out of almost every single bet on the board, but that's one where you have to stay true to the data that you've seen so far. Nick Bolton, Trent McDuffie, L'Jarius Sneed, all guys that will be covering Kittle and potentially limiting what he can do from an explosive play standpoint. Doesn't mean that Kittle can't rack up a bunch of catches, but maybe take the explosive plays out of that. All right, so that's somebody on the Niners. Anybody on the Chiefs that you like, under or over?
I don't have a specific prop for it, but one bet that I love right now is for the leading rusher in the Super Bowl to be running back of the Chiefs, Isaiah Pacheco. Everybody's going to be all over Christian McCaffrey, and you can get this at plus money right now. So for me, the way that Pacheco has been used throughout these playoffs for the Chiefs, he's been so much more efficient than McCaffrey has been. He's been the leading scorer in every single playoff this season. Leading rusher, excuse me. McCaffrey has not been. Right. So I've got to go with that, especially at plus money. Why would I not sprinkle a little something on it?
Yeah, we mentioned it a number of times this week. Isaiah Pacheco touched the ball 28 times against the Ravens. 5 of his last 7 games, he's seeing over 20 touches. His rushing attempts prop is 16.5 at the BetMGM Sportsbook. His rushing yards, 67.5. I'm over on both of those. And the MVP, it was 35-1. It's creeping down a little bit, I think, as more people try to see if there's somebody other than Patrick Mahomes that can win a Super Bowl MVP. He's 2 for 2 in their victories. No running back has won a Super Bowl MVP since Terrell Davis after the 1998 season. So we understand it's a long shot. But when you start to build the storyline that we're building and correlate your bets, is it worth a little sprinkle at $20 at 35-1?
It could be. You could be getting an insane payout, so maybe it's worth it.
That's right. So we understand that when we're talking long shots, they're long shots for a reason. But you can correlate your bets and start to construct the way you think the game is going to happen and bet accordingly. All right, so we got a running back and a tight end. Let's separate the QBs for a moment. Patrick Mahomes. Do you think this is mostly Pacheco and Mahomes has a somewhat muted game for him, or do you think there's going to be an opportunity for him to throw multiple touchdowns?
I could see him throwing multiple touchdowns. I think I am not particularly on a prop pertaining to Patrick Mahomes, just because I feel like we have seen Patrick Mahomes not throw as much as he has over the last few seasons. They've leaned a lot on that run, and it's been a madhouse with who's going to be that wide receiver one for quite some time there in Kansas City throughout the year. Yeah. I'm not really touching anything with him, and I feel like everybody else on the other side with 49ers, Brock Purdy, we want to see him doing great. He's an underdog. Of course, everybody wants that good feel-good story. I'm not as confident. I know one of the biggest bets that people are betting right now is for Brock Purdy to throw an interception, and I am also one of those bettors that will be betting on Brock Purdy to throw an interception in this game.
How about anybody else on the Chiefs? Pass catchers that you like, or defenders?
Ooh, I'm trying to think one play that I do love, not on the Chiefs, 49ers.
Okay, let's do it.
If I've got an anytime touchdown bet, I'm going to put money on Deebo Samuel. Yeah, He's had 12 trips to the end zone this season. That's the most in his career. He's yet to have one in the playoffs. What's a better time to do it than in the Super Bowl game?
And we did see him utilized quite a bit in high leverage games last week against the Lions, even in a game in which they were trailing. Deebo, 8 catches for 89 yards. They gave him a high leverage carry. They're not afraid to give him the ball near the goal line and in the red zone. So those high leverage touches, I feel like it really comes down to McCaffrey and Deebo before even some of those other players we've mentioned, like George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk.
I think another thing about Samuel, so much why I like him to get a touchdown in the Super Bowl too, is he's just a jack of all trades on the field. He can get in through running, he can get in through catching, and what he does after contact is elite in the NFL. Nobody does it better.
Yeah.
Deebo Samuel, anytime touchdown.
Yeah, there's some really good props out there, obviously, as we continue to, anytime you have an isolated game like this, we're going to scour the prop market. So any other creative ones out? So we got Deebo, we got Kittle, we've got Pacheco. We're talking we got Purdy. Now, nothing on Mahomes yet, although it's still early.
Right.
We still got a couple of days to go. Anybody else out there? I'll tell you what, one defensive prop that I like is one. See here, the Niners fan.
There they are. Out and about.
This is it. This is what we're here for. The Niner
fans, gang's going crazy.
A lot of Niners fans here, faithful to the Bay, right? That is their hashtag that they utilize. There's a lot of native Niners fans in Vegas because they didn't have a team for so long. We see a lot of Niners fans here, but the people that have been coming in, there's clearly some Niners fans coming in, but the Chiefs fans are the ones that are really starting to arrive and make this a little bit more of an even split. So.
I think it's interesting. I knew with it being so close to the Bay Area, we were going to see a big 49ers influx of fans as well. Over there, though, at Mandalay right now, the Chiefs fans they're arriving, they're getting here, they're coming in mass.
Yeah. So, all right, defensive prop, I mentioned, you said you like Brock to throw a pick. Is it possible Trent McDuffie is the guy that gets that?
Ooh,
you get odds on that one, 9-1, 10-1.
We could go with that. I like that a lot. I have one obscure prop, I guess you could say. It's slightly obscure. But I'm going to go with Kansas City's kicker, Harrison Butker, over 6.5 total points.
I love it.
He's hit this over in 2 out of 3 playoff games this year, and he's been perfect throughout the postseason. On top of that, points come at a premium in big games like this, and kickers can really make it or break it. If you've got a guy like Butker who's calm under pressure and can handle it, over the 6.5 points should be easy.
He was 1 for 2 in the Super Bowl last year of field goals attempted, but I think Taylor and I knew I was going to like working with her. I like her even more now that she's aligned to almost all the bets. I'm on Harrison Butker overs as well. She took the kicking points. I took the over made field goals over 1.5. So keep in mind, kickers could be a big part of what happens here. So where can everybody find you on social media?
You can follow me at TMath Sports on Instagram, Twitter, the works.
And on In-Game Live all throughout the week on SportsGrid. So you find her on SportsGrid each and every week. She continues after the Super Bowl, as do I. We continue this show right after this, live at MGM SportsGrid.
Brady, they don't call pass interference nearly as much as they used to. They're letting the guys play this year over the last couple of months. Vinovich has the reputation of letting them play. We saw he called 9 penalties only in the last Super Bowl. I've already placed the bet. Total accepted penalties in the Super Bowl under 10.5.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
If he doesn't run well, the Chiefs are really in trouble. If McCaffrey doesn't run well, there's a lot more options that you can actually use at that point. And that's how I'm trying to approach it and effectively. But also, Pacheco, anytime touchdown, if they're going to score a touchdown, probably going to be him.
That's a good look. Attempts for Pacheco if you believe Kansas City's going to play their style. If you don't, then maybe you go under that total in regards to that.
Pro Football Today. Only on SportsGrid.
8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. They reel off the Chiefs, do 21 straight points. They win the game 31-20.
I've been selling this, because of the $23 billion is going to be bet on this game in the States this Sunday. That's insane. And this place, Vegas, they're going to make billions of dollars if the Chiefs don't win.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
You a hat guy? Oh, I've got hats. I've got a jillion hats. I hear I don't have as many hats as you, but I don't.
You don't. I have a hat bag.
He has a hat bag.
I have a hat bag. I carry this
that's
around.
That's not a purse or man bag. It's a hat
ridiculous.
bag.
This is it. Look,
I love it.
I got to go everywhere.
And by the way, the whole Randy Moss receiver versus Randy Moss TV guy, the mistaken identity and all that. How can you confuse us, right? He's got hair. He's got hair, and I don't.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
Here we are, SportsGrid Live from Las Vegas, joined by my buddy, Dr. David Chao, at Pro Football Doc on social media. Heads up Sports Injury Central, where you get your 6 score and find out all the latest information on injured players. We need the latest information on this Super Bowl, Doc. We'll get your take on which team you think is going to win the game, but we've got a few players that have come off IR and maybe coming off IR as late as tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe, but, obviously Jerick McKinnon is the big questionable one. Right. They've already ruled out Thuney. We've said that all along. He's not going to play. I'm not so sure that McKinnon's going to be able to play. Yes, he was activated to the practice window. Even if he's activated off IR, doesn't mean that he is playing inactive. Look, they had nothing to lose. Unless they activate him, he couldn't practice with the team. They let him practice with the team. But the type of speed back that he is, quick cutting with that core muscle injury, I'm dubious that he'll play. So your prop there was still in the rushes is good.
Yeah. So hopefully, we continue to get Isaiah Pacheco a lot of concentrated touches. Obviously, Jerick McKinnon, a really interesting Swiss Army knife for them. But as Doc said, his inability to perhaps go at full speed would hurt him in the long run. How about Sky Moore coming off the IR this week as well? Another speedster for Kansas City.
Sky Moore is ready to go by injury. The question is, what is Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes going to do in terms of utilization?
Right.
By knee injury, he's good to go and a full go.
Oh, that's good. So Sky Moore, you could expect him in the lineup. But again, as Doc said, it's been a long layoff. So exactly with this offense becoming more and more concentrated, can they expand with just a couple of days to go before the Super Bowl? But he is practicing and healthy. Joe Thuney, unfortunately, not going to ring the bell. That pectoral muscle. So what does that injury look like from a rehab standpoint? Is that a surgery or is that just continued
rest? It shouldn't be surgery, but the problem is, when we analyze injuries from my time in the NFL, it's very position and player specific.
Right.
Like McKinnon, the type of player he is. Thuney, the type of player he is, and the fact that he plays left guard, right? If he can't protect the A-gap because the pec muscle, he can't do it. I mean, he would be a liability for his team. Then this is why Andy Reid has talked about he doesn't really have his strength yet. Now, Thuney is lobbying to play, but he's already been ruled out now. He's just not going to make it.
Right. So Doc was a team doctor with the San Diego Chargers for many years, beyond doing what he does now, a surgeon and an NFL team doc for 17 years in the NFL. So he knows this process very well. How about on the Niners side? Is there anybody dealing with a lingering injury that you have any concerns about, or could anybody be hampered in any way?
Well, Dre Greenlaw had that stinger. The docs probably wanted him to wear a collar, and he probably said, no, I need my mobility in my neck. But I think he's good to go. A lot of attention to CMC with the neck, head, shoulder, and his calf previously, but don't see that as an issue. Debo, that shoulder injury is behind him. We had said on SportsGrid that he's likely to play through that in the conference championship.
Right.
We had a 6 score of 86. Heck, we should have made it 125.
I was going to say, right? It looked like 106. He looked amazing during that game. You could tell from the first touch, you're like, I think he's going to be okay in this game. So I would love some, given your background and having been around big games like this one is unique in that they have an extended halftime, right? It takes them a little bit out of their rhythm. Now, luckily, a lot of the players on these teams have gone through this before, but what about some of those first-time players? How do they deal with that extended halftime, and could it put them at risk in any way?
It is unique. It's not only extended halftime, but extended break before you come out for the first kickoff.
Sure.
And look, it's possible, let's say the Chiefs' offense, if the 49ers' offense is on the field at the end of the first half, plus a halftime that's extended a lot longer than 12 minutes, and the Chiefs have to kick off to start the second half, it could be an hour before Patrick Mahomes' company are back on the field, or it could happen the other way as well. So, look, I've been a team physician, a host physician twice for Super Bowls. Unfortunately, I have not been a team physician for Super Bowls, but in talking to them and so forth, a lot of players choose to treat the second half as a new game because there's so much time.
Right.
Like they'll take all the tape off, take the uniform off, put on a shower, get retaped, put on a clean jersey, the whole deal.
Interesting.
And start it again. Because if anything, it gives them a routine of something to do and to come out as opposed to sit there and
think
wait.
about what's going to happen. You could get, your nerves could get the better of you in those scenarios. And what Doc talked about pregame, the normal warm-up scenario, you warm up, you go back in for a couple of minutes, you're right back out doing introductions. But here we have America the Beautiful, we have a Star Spangled Banner, a lot of pomp and circumstance before the game, and you are sitting around for a long time, so you could cool off before the kickoff even happens, correct?
Yeah, the whole thing's different, right? There's a lot that goes into the Super Bowl, and the players just have to focus on the game. And I'm sure, the 49ers have experience, not the whole team, but Chiefs have experience. Obviously they played in Miami not that long ago.
Sure. How about do teams employ sports psychologists before a game like this in order to get them in the right mindset or deal with these extended breaks?
Well, I think all teams have sports psychologists, but the best sports psychology is usually when a team makes the Super Bowl, they say, here's the deal. You have X number of days early on to deal with your tickets, your family, the hotel room, and after a certain cutoff, we don't want to hear from you. Right. You need to concentrate on the game. So it gets them concentrating on the game. And the best I always hear is like the veteran players address the young guys who haven't been there and say, here's the routine. Because, peer group, that's almost better. You don't want... Look, if you've been working with a sports psychologist all year, maybe that person can help. But to introduce something new at the Super Bowl is the last thing you want to do.
Right. I think you know better than anybody. NFL players are a victim of routine, and they prefer to kick off at the same time every week and go through the same routine every week.
Absolutely. Look, I'll let
dress the same every week.
I'll let you know a secret. Like when it's a Monday Night Football game, obviously it's a regular Sunday.
Sure.
What they'll do is they'll call Thursday schedule Wednesday. And Friday schedule Thursday, right? Because they're used to that scheduling.
Right.
And they'll make the same adjustments if it's a Thursday night game.
Right.
So, yes, they're creatures of habit. And especially in the last few days leading up, they want it to be like the regular season.
Right. So, all right. So, this is a game that not terribly impacted by injury, which is a good thing. I think we're getting, Joe Thuney is probably the most high-profile player. The Chiefs did lose Charles Omenihu as we got here in the AFC Championship game, just 6 plays, a very impactful six plays, but he is somebody that will be back for next season most likely.
Yeah, maybe not the start, and he's an ex-49er, and it's obviously a shame, and that's what it looked like by video in game.
Yeah.
And, of course, Nadi is still not back, and so there's 2 guys on the D-line for the Chiefs. Look, it makes sense, right? The teams that are injured got knocked out earlier.
Sure.
Philadelphia,
Bills.
the Dolphins, the Bills in the second round, and Cleveland, right, as you come up. And now, for most Super Bowls, you get there because one of the reasons is you're healthy.
Sure.
And the Chiefs aren't 100%. Look, the
49ers lost
Hufanga earlier, but there's always something, but minimal injury impact, which is why they're playing well and they deserve to be in the Super Bowl.
Right. So, all right, so we had a chance to talk about the medical angle of this game. How about... Well, first of all, how's your week been in Vegas? It's obviously a great place to have events. And
it's been great. It's been busy. I mean, look, usually by end of the week and Friday, fewer people want to talk to me because here comes...
I'm glad to have you.
Well, here comes Joe Montana, and here comes, Steve Young, and here comes all these great players and all this other stuff. But I think you're the 9th thing that I've done today.
That's great. We'll try to get you to 10 if I can. So... yeah, there's a hierarchy here. You find yourself falling in line. When Joe Montana and Deion Sanders walk by you, people aren't going to talk to you if they can get a shot at him. So I would love your perspective. We've gotten everybody's on the football game itself, Chiefs or Niners. What do you think?
Well, look, last year I was big on the Chiefs, not only because of injuries and other things, but my 10-year-old son loves Patrick Mahomes. I actually bought a ticket, brought him to the game.
Amazing.
Thankfully, the Chiefs prevailed. I was in Miami for the Chiefs over the 49ers when they overcame that 10-point fourth quarter lead.
You appear to be a good luck charm for them.
I'm not going to the game this year. I cannot get out of my head the look on John Lynch's face in the locker room. When I saw him, I just walked by him, but he's such a nice guy. He comes over and says, "Hello, how's your family?" I'm like, "How's my family? You just lost Super." I mean, and he was very downtrodden. So I gave him a hug earlier this week. I'm really rooting and thanking the 49ers for that reason in my heart. Of course, my 11-year-old twin daughter with the son is going to be mad because she loves Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, and of course my son loves Patrick Mahomes. But I gotta vote for John Lynch.
So your heart is going in 2 different directions. You want to support the kids with Mahomes, but they got one last year, right?
That's right.
Got one last year.
That's right.
I have an 11-year-old daughter an 8-year-old daughter as well. So Taylor Swift is on.
Oh,
at my
she's
house
got
and in my
the
car.
87 sweatshirt.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift's boyfriend. She's all decked out.
Absolutely.
The whole deal.
I think we'll be buying some gear with Kelsey on it to bring home to New York to give to my daughter. So, all right. So you like that? How about who's the star player on the 49ers as far as you're concerned this weekend?
Well, look, we do some Sports Injury Central, even with healthy stuff. There are some props. For example, because we think CMC's healthy, and George Kittle in his toe is healthy, and Deebo Samuel's healthy, we think Ayuk may not get his full share. Right. So I think it could be a big game out of Deebo or CMC on the 49er side. The toe for Kittle isn't going to be a big issue, so less touches for Ayuk. And on the Chiefs side, I mean, it's going to be Mahomes. He's got to find a way, right, to get the ball to the receivers and Kelsey. Look, I don't think the Chiefs are going to be able to just run the ball like they have in the last two playoff games with Pacheco, so they're going to have to find a different way.
All right, so there you go. We got a Niners backer here. Pro Football Doc. Find him on social media at Pro Football Doc. Sports Injury Central gives great perspective each and every week on these games and how injuries really can relay to the impact on the field and how healthy units are or are not going into a given week. I utilize it every week when I'm handicapping and looking what games, what angles I'm going to take on certain games, and it can really push you in the right direction when you realize that players aren't going to ring the bell for that particular week, or you have several players out of an offensive line unit that is hampered. So great stuff as always. Dr. David Chao, Pro Football Doc, Sports Injury Central. He joined us live here from Las Vegas, and he'll be working on Super Bowl Sunday just like we will be. So be sure to tune into him as well as SportsGrid. When we come back, we will talk a little bit about my best bets for the week. Live from Las Vegas, it's SportsGrid.
.47 is one of the hardest numbers to beat, period, for an NFL football game. A lot of combinations that can fall 47. You decide.
Of course.
You're getting great two-way action. That's what you want as the book. You don't have to move the number. Right. Biggest game of the year is the easiest game to book in the world.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
I'm digging deep, fellas. I'm digging deep. Christian McCaffrey minus 220. Donnie, how could you do that? The price point is way out of control in this. Keep it simple. The goal is to win money, not to outsmart everybody.
Mahomes is minus 140 to throw 2 touchdown passes. And if he's going to, every single thing suggests a wide receiver will haul in at least one, if not both.
Pro Football Today. Only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
You a hat guy?
Oh, I've got hats. I've got a jillion hats. I hear I don't have as many hats as you, but I don't.
You don't. I have a hat bag.
He has a hat bag.
I have a hat bag. I carry this
That's
around.
not a purse or man bag.
This
It's
is
a hat
ridiculous.
bag.
This is it. Look,
I love it.
I got to go everywhere.
Hey, by the way, the whole Randy Moss receiver versus Randy Moss TV guy, the mistaken identity and all that. How can you confuse us, right? He's got hair. He's got hair, and I don't.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
I saw a study that said 24% of Taylor Swift fans actually do follow the Chiefs now.
Sure.
And when you consider how many fans she has, it's quite a lot, 24%.
Oh, yeah. You seen Travis Kelce's Instagram, his social media?
Yeah.
Everything.
Right.
It's huge.
Oh, no, listen. He's, like his agent said, he's going to be the next Rock. Like, they're setting him up to be, the next superstar.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Here we are, folks. It's all come down to this. SportsGrid live from Las Vegas. It's been a heck of a week. I'll give out my thank yous after this segment. But what we're going to do right now is walk through exactly what I think is going to happen in this game. I've tried to remain true to everything that I thought going into this week and laid out my best bets for you, and I'll show you those in a few moments. But here's why I think the Chiefs are going to win this football game and how they're going to do it. A couple of years ago, look, I know I'm not patting myself on the back. I got lucky. I called the final score, Rams 23, Bengals 20. I was able to break down that game pretty accurately, and I hope I can run it back in the same way and provide you with some decent bets here. Obviously, I won't be surprised if the Niners are able to win that football game, but I think the Chiefs have it here. I like the coaching advantage. I like the QB advantage, obviously, and Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan need to prove to me that they're able to pull this off. I don't think this is their year, although I don't think they're too far off from pulling this off. So what do I think is going to happen? I think the Chiefs, whether they get the ball first or not, are going to really establish the run early on in this game. Do everything they can to take the air out of the ball, just like they did to the Baltimore Ravens, and try to make the Niners uncomfortable, or at least limit the amount of time that the Niners have the ball. The Niners are an excellent first-half scoring team. Both of these teams like to play from in front, and I think Kansas City, utilizing Isaiah Pacheco, will do everything they can to get a lead and try to hang on to it. I'm not saying they're going to be terribly conservative, but I do think that is part of the game plan to limit what the Niners are doing. So, as they are sustaining drives, I do not think they'll be afraid to utilize their kicker, Harrison Butker, who has been one of the best kickers in the league. He hits over 90% of his kicks, and in the playoffs, he's lights out, 28 of 32 in his career, missing just one extra point in his career in the playoffs. So I think Harrison Butker, who went 1 for 2, yet kicked the game winner last year, I do think he becomes a part of how this game is decided, kicking multiple field goals and putting themselves in position to win this football game. I think the first half will be higher scoring than the second half, so I think the Chiefs are close or maintain a lead going into halftime, and then that's when the defense and Steve Spagnuolo's defense really takes over this game. They'll be in a position where we have the second half under. May struggle to get there. Again, Kansas City allowing just 6.8 points per game to their opponents in the second half of football games. They're scoring themselves just 7.6. So very low scoring second halves in Kansas City Chiefs games during the year. I'm going to go to the magic wall now, stack up our best bets, and show you exactly how we're going to get there. I've already laid out the map. So what we'll do is go over to the magic wall. We'll show you the best bets that I have and give you exactly what we need as we get closer to Sunday. Super Bowl 58 just a couple of days away, and we'll do the best bets right here as I run up to the magic wall. I hope that transition was smooth. Was it? I practiced it like 10 times, so hopefully I got there. And here we go. Let's roll into the best bets. I gave you one every day, and I'm going to give you the final score when we get here right now. So my first best bet of the week was Isaiah Pacheco over rushing attempts. Like I said just a minute ago, I think they'll establish the run with Isaiah Pacheco, and his rushing attempts over 15.5. It is now inflated on the BetMGM Sportsbook to 16.5. So, sorry, I got a better number than you might be looking at right now, but I'm still comfortable with 16.5. 28 touches in the last game. 5 of his last 7, he got to this over this number. The Chiefs really doing everything they can in this concentrated offense to get Isaiah Pacheco the ball. So over 16.5. His rushing yardage total, 67.5. I think that's in play as well. If he's touching the ball 16 times or more and not getting to 67 or 68 yards, Chiefs are in trouble. I think he will. I don't necessarily think. I think he has the opportunity to have an explosive game. We all know that his MVP odds are 35-1, or at least north of 25-1 at the BetMGM Sportsbook. I don't know what it is right at this moment, but I bet it at 35-1 just to take a shot. So that's the first one. Over 16.5 Isaiah Pacheco rushing attempts, but take a look at his yardage total as well at 67.5. Next one we got, guys, is Harrison Butker. I just mentioned, I think Harrison Butker could kick multiple field goals in this game. In fact, I think he'll have 3 field goals in this game. You'll find out why when I get to the final score. So Harrison Butker, again, all of those numbers, 28 of 32 from field goals in his career. Andy Reid not afraid to utilize him. I don't think they'll pass up points, especially against a talented Niners defense. There's a lot of concern to say if they're kicking field goals, how do they battle the Niners? Well, I think their defense is going to be a big part of this contest as well. I think they'll do whatever they can to rattle Brock Purdy and keep that Niners offense off the field. So I think Harrison Butker has multiple opportunities to hit field goals, over 1.5 field goals at BetMGM. You might be able to do the attempts. I'm saying made field goals over 1.5. Next one, guys. So we have the next best bet we have for the week was winning margin, I believe. We'll get that up there in a second. Winning margin. So you're at a situation now where you have the Chiefs to win by, and you have to do this, you have to place 2 different bets in order to cover yourself here. You can do this, obviously, isolated if you think the Chiefs win a close game, which I actually think they do. But the Chiefs to win by 1 to 6 points, plus 333. So you have a money line bet of plus 110. If you get very specific about it and you think the Chiefs, you already think the Chiefs are winning a close game, then you have the Chiefs to win by 1 to 6. I would like to pair that bet with the winning margin of 7 to 12, which I believe is plus 550. The guys will show it here. So if you have a range of bets there, you have 2 bets. You have the Chiefs to win by 1 to 6 and the Chiefs to win by 7 to 12. You put $50 down on each. Just say this hypothetically. $50 down on each. Your outlay is $100. The payout from 1 to 6 is $216 total, and the payout here a couple of $100 more than that. So your risk total is $100. You can at least double your money and perhaps triple and quadruple your money. So keep that in mind. If you're a Chiefs backer, you can bet winning margin bands and potentially put yourself in an even more profitable position than just betting the money line. Now you lose this obviously if the Niners win the game, and you lose it if the Chiefs blow them out by 2 touchdowns. But I like a close Chiefs victory here, so that's what I'll go with. The next one we had, guys, was the next best bet is, there you go, second half under. I mentioned it while I was at the desk. Second half under 23.5. I think we could see some points here. Even the over in the first half, which is also 23.5. Perhaps a 14-14 game at half, and then we slow it down. We get a few field goals in the second half by Harrison Butker. Maybe that ends up a 9-6 second half, something like that. Just throwing, I'm not saying that's exactly the way it will lay out, but I think that is sort of mapping out how I think it will be. The Chiefs last week did not score in the second half against Baltimore. 5 punts in the second half. They went on the road in a playoff game, in the AFC Championship game, did not score, and still won the football game, allowing just 3 points to the Baltimore Ravens. So under 23.5 in the second half. And now we arrive at the moment of truth. We have what I think the final score will be. So I can tell you I have Chiefs money line. I can tell you I took Chiefs +2. I got the second half under of 23.5. I've got Harrison Butker kicking 3 field goals in this game. I've got Isaiah Pacheco over on rushing attempts, also rushing yards. By the way, if you're an Isaiah Pacheco backer like me, why not put a little bit on him to win the MVP? No running back MVP since Terrell Davis against the Atlanta Falcons. He had a 100-yard day that day. John Elway threw for over 300 yards in that game, did not win the MVP. Will Patrick Mahomes throw for over 300 yards and not win an MVP? I don't know. He won the MVP last time these two teams played when he threw 2 interceptions. So was Damian Williams worthy of that? Garbage time touchdown? People didn't think so. So what do we have right here? The final score, that's what I'm going to release right now. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to win this football game by a score of 23-20. Sorry, Niners. I love you, but Kansas City Chiefs win this football game 23-20. We have, how about a first score to Rashee Rice? We have Isaiah Pacheco getting in the end zone. Harrison Butker with 3 field goals. That gets them to 23. I think the Niners at 20 points could happen a variety of different ways, but that rookie kicker, does it become an issue? Does he miss an extra point? I'll give the Niners 3 touchdowns. Jake Moody misses the extra point. 23-20, Chiefs over the San Francisco 49ers. It'll be Patrick Mahomes' 3rd Super Bowl victory. Andy Reid picking up a 3rd Super Bowl victory as well, making him 3-2 overall as a head coach in the Super Bowl. So I've done everything I could do here. Are there other props out there you should be betting? Absolutely. Those are my best bets. Those are ones that would rank at the top. You could take some flyers everywhere else. The Rashee Rice first touchdown score or anytime touchdown score, I think is something to take a look at as you sift through all of these bets throughout the week. People are obviously betting Travis Kelce. I think he could have a solid game. I don't expect a particularly high-scoring Super Bowl. So for me to load up on anytime touchdown bets does not really align with how I think this game is going to play out. You can only cover so much before you find yourself in a negative position. As we mentioned earlier this week on this program, there's not a lot of positive expectation bets in the Super Bowl. You have a lot of money coming in, and a lot of sharp bettors are betting unders. They're taking points. They're betting no on certain prop bets, like will there be a safety? Will there be overtime? You have to lay a lot of wood in order to be profitable on those types of bets, but it does put you in a position where you might be a winner. I will say that when it comes to betting the Super Bowl, you're going to find some bets you're like, I just don't want to lay that type of juice. But there's still positive EV, expected value, when you are laying some wood or laying the juice, as it were. So a minus 200 or 250 bet that you wouldn't bet normally and you feel obligated to bet more during the Super Bowl, I would say, first of all, be responsible with your bankroll, but you do have the ability to still win bets that are minus 200, minus 250 or more. Those safety bets and overtime bets are specifically what I'm talking about. So again, we'll run through them one more time. Isaiah Pacheco, over 16.5 rushing attempts, over 67.5 rushing yards as well. Under the second half, under 23.5. We've got Harrison Butker, over 1.5 made field goals. We have the Chiefs winning margins. Chiefs 1-6, Chiefs 7-12. Gets them a 23-20 victory, has me covered there. They want to tack on another touchdown, make it 30-20. I'm not afraid of it. And in fact, that 7-12 would be even more profitable. So that's where, and then we've got Chiefs 23-20. You can see, folks, a lot of people coming here into the book yelling Niners at one another, yelling Niners at me. They hate the fact that I just picked the Chiefs, but I have to stick to my guns. A lot of the players and coaches are on the Chiefs. A lot of the professional bettors are on the San Francisco 49ers. So I hope I find myself on the right side, and I hope you are with me. If you're against me, I wish you luck. If you're with me, let's go Chiefs. And when we come back, we're going to close out the show. It has been a tremendous week here at the BetMGM Sportsbook in the MGM Grand Hotel and Casino. My favorite place to stay while I'm here in Vegas. I'll be back here in a couple of months. I might be back here next month for some March Madness, but excited to spend all week here with you. Hopefully the Magic Wall provides some magic for your bank accounts and for your BetMGM Sportsbook app. When we come back, I'm going to close it out and thank everybody that was with us all throughout the week, particularly my producers, Sam Yarnell and Patrick Foster. They've been my right-hand men all week. And when I come back, I'll be at the desk for the final time. SportsGrid Live from Las Vegas, right here at the MGM Grand.
Think about last year's game, it ends on the failed Hail Mary, and both teams run out onto the field. That's what you're looking for, is a
chaotic end of the game.
You can't get the game.
Oh, great point. Yeah.
2-point spread in the game. Think it could come down to the wire. Everyone says script, Taylor slip, all this stuff. So I like 1,600, no Gatorade play.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Super Bowl is set in Vegas. We get a rematch from just a few years ago.
The only consistency in the playoffs has been Travis Kelce.
Brock Purdy, back-to-back weeks throwing one touchdown pass, right? He can't win MVP with one touchdown pass.
I hate the Chiefs, but I bet on them.
This is going to be a game that is played inside a field goal now from a spread perspective.
All that matters is there's one game left, the big game.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
They have played terrible football, and yet they always win. Have you noticed? Everyone keeps talking about how bad the Niners suck as they win every week. They win every game, even games they should have. They're down 24-7, and they still won.
Now we have the first excuse. When the Niners lose on Sunday night, they practiced on a bad field at UNLV. They didn't get the proper conditions.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
If he doesn't run well, the Chiefs are really in trouble. If McCaffrey doesn't run well, there's a lot more options that you can actually use at that point. And that's how I'm trying to approach it and effectively. But also, Pacheco anytime touchdown, if they're going to score a touchdown, probably going to be him.
That's a good look. Attempts for Pacheco if you believe Kansas City's going to play their style. If you don't, then maybe you go under that total in regards to that.
Pro Football Today. Only on SportsGrid.
So here's where we say thank you to everybody. Thank you to the BetMGM Sportsbook, the MGM Grand Hotel and Casino. Vegas, thank you for having us here. It's been an incredible week, and there's a lot of people to thank, so let me do it in this brief period of time that I have. Thank you to our guests, Pro Football Doc, Dr. David Chao, Taylor Mathis with us, all the whole Pro Football Today crew, Donnie Rightside, and Kevin Walsh, and Joe Lisi, to Dave Sharapan, to Adam Kaplan for his inside information, Brady Cannon, Adam Malamutt, and lastly, Warren Sharp, giving us great information earlier in the week that we continue to utilize to help us with our wagers. To the staff, my partners in crime all week, Pat Foster and Sam Yarnell, you've done a great job. To Frank, great job. Preston, Saya, and Bobby Hill, great job back in studio, helping with the graphics and making this thing run as smoothly as possible. It's been a really unbelievable experience. My first Super Bowl that I got to cover live, and what better place to do it than Las Vegas and this hotel that first time I ever came to Las Vegas in 1998. Guess where I stayed? Right here at the MGM Grand. I've stayed here over the years, and I can't think of a better place to hang out and talk football than this sportsbook right here. First sportsbook I ever saw in person was right behind me. So the last people I have to thank are my friends and family, for all of you that have supported me over the years and this week. I appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. To Carson and Owen, my kids, I'll be home soon. So looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. I'll be in studio on Sunday, but I'll see them on Saturday. Looking forward to giving them a big hug. My daughter, just the biggest Taylor Swift fan, so I'm rooting for Travis Kelce touchdown just for her alone. And to my wife, Christine, thank you. Love you for supporting me. It's been a heck of a week while I've been gone, but all of your efforts help me to continue this career that I love. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for supporting me. I love you all, and I'll see you soon. We'll be live on Sunday, on Super Bowl Sunday. I'm leaving here, headed home, right back in studio, 12 to 3 on Super Bowl Sunday, SportsGrid live from Las Vegas. We're out. Thank you, everybody.